I have been running for as long as I can remember. I keep my eyes squeezed shut tight. I run as fast as my legs can take me. Time zones melt beneath my feet. I trip. Can I have kids? Sure, I can. But should I? It's no secret, the sickness that plagues this parched, waterlogged planet. I run as fast as I can, like I always have, yet I get no further.
My papa who dug these ponds on this land, he said to me, Layla, you need to figure out a way to get clean water. You need to figure out a way to protect the water, because at the end of the world, it's like water is going to be like gold. Like, whoever has the water is going to have the money, they're going to have control, they're going to have life. And you need to figure out a way to do that for your people.
Places like Europe are probably going to be like a desert or getting closer to a desert, and I don't really know what it'll look like here in Toronto, but probably lots of flooding, like worse than we've already seen recently.
I think growing up in Bermuda, nature was definitely a huge part of me growing up on the island, just because your parents would always encourage you to be outside, to take advantage of the beautiful place that you live in. Bermuda is completely surrounded by water. It's an island. You can always sort of see the ocean no matter where you are. And really, nature and being outside was at the core of what my childhood was. Hotter summers are a big thing, and they start a little later too. But you see certain things or certain animals you see less of as you grow up, and it's just little things.
We're here on the Grand River as well, which is our treaty lands were designated 6 miles of the Grand River. I feel very connected to that river, but it's not well, and when I went to the West Coast, when I went to BC and saw a river that was vibrant and pristine and alive and electric, and I came home and saw ours is I don't even let my kids swim in it or go in it. You see the change in animals, in the plant life.
We're in a house that was completely destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. Big storms continue to hit us. Louisiana is sinking. New Orleans is underwater.
Bringing a baby into the world, you wonder, are they going to have to keep fighting? Are they going to have to, fight for their land and their water?
There's kind of a constant hum of that. And I think having a baby, having a child is a big factor in that as well. Not every time, but frequently when I look at him, I try to imagine what his life will be like. And one of the first thoughts is, well, what will the world be like? What will the climate be like?
So I teach grades 1 to 4. I mean, I get very anxious. I really do. I don't think I'm gonna have I don't know if I'm gonna have children because of the crisis. So the anxiety is really real for me.
I think about the future a lot, probably more so since I gave birth. So because I have a son, I think about the future a lot because he is the future and I have to consider him in every single thing that I do. You want the best for your kid as a parent, but we never think about the environment, how that also has to be the best.
I grew up in Bermuda for my whole life, and I really value the time there. But there is a real possibility that isn't in my kid's future. I would hope that the Bermuda of the future within my lifetime isn't a Bermuda that like my children will have to read about rather than visit.
It's becoming really clear to me that that climate change, the instability it will cause, will breed a whole new era of political instability, and it'll take everything we have, I think, to focus on what we can build and share, and not what we can hoard for ourselves, not how we can protect just ourselves. And as a new parent, that is going to be a difficult thing for me to try and embrace, because every time I look at my kid, I just hope nothing bad ever happens to him.
It makes me sad and a little anxious. It's one of those things where it's like, how do you stop it because it's so much bigger than me?
I think based on how humans are, we're gonna see a lot of flooding. We're gonna see a lot of people dying, a lot of marginalized people getting hit hard. But you know, this knowledge, climate education, climate knowledge has been in circulation for decades now, and it's just becoming mainstream now. And the time is just running out. The clock is really ticking. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're gonna see enough change from our business leaders, our politicians, to really enact that beautiful future that we could really have.
The main emotion I feel with the climate crisis is definitely a lot of anger, because when I think about the climate crisis, I think about all the people who have the power to do something about it and just aren't. So whether that's like our world leaders or our big CEOs, the big banks, all of that stuff. So yeah, just really frustrated because all of this is happening to people right now. It's not like a distant thing in the future, and yet we still have a ton of people that aren't treating it like it's a current crisis.
I think there's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of flooding.
Climate change and sea level rise are deadly and existential threats to Tuvalu and low-lying atoll countries. We are sinking, but so is everyone else.
There's a nation, I think it's called Tuvalu. It's in the Pacific Islands. And their prime minister was talking about how they were going to become the first digital nation because in 100 years, they'd been projected that their entire landmass would be underwater. And that was huge to me because it had always been a lingering thing, like, oh, what, like sea level rise? But this is like a real country that's putting in policies already to have its citizens transfer their entire history onto the internet. And I was like, whoa, like that's your reality. Like, you've accepted that and it's already in motion. Like, what are we doing?
It's hard to like exist every day. What's the point? Why are we producing so much? Why are we working so hard? Like, we should be, instead of expanding and keeping this production so high, we should be like taking stock, like investing in what we have here to make it better, to make it more durable. Being this far into things, and knowing what I know now, everything kind of feels like a mistake. Everything feels wrong. I'm driving my car to work and that feels wrong. I'm going to get something from the grocery store, it's covered in plastic, that feels wrong. Like, it's hard to exist when you just see it so differently.
This is something that we did. We single-handedly damaged this earth, and we continue to do it, which is very alarming. When I think about climate crisis, I think about the destruction of this world and how fast that's happening and how scary that is, because whether we're going to stay here or not, our kin, our generations to come, our lineage will have to put up with this world. And it's so scary that we are okay with leaving this world so shitty.
Well, I love gymnastics. I love skiing. My favorite color is blue. And I love space. And I think that when you open your door and look outside, there's gonna be like a bunch of water or like a bunch of like eruption or like erosion and eruption, all these kinds of natural disasters and like how the weather's changing. I don't really want to live in that kind of world.
Sego, Skanagoaga, Lela Station Gats, Anawara Niwa Gita Rodan Ganyak Gehaga, Niwa Gotwan Jordan, Oswego Nidawageno. I am a 4th generation survivor of the Indian residential school, Mohawk, reclaiming and walking on what we call the Red Road to learn my culture, my history, my teachings, my identity. I'm a mom. I am a filmmaker, an activist, a land defender, a water protector.
So my name is Marcus Bassett. I'm originally born and raised in Bermuda. I have St. Lucian and Jamaican heritage.
So my name is Humera. I think one of the most important things I would like people to know about me is that I'm a Canadian born and raised, daughter of 2 immigrants.
My name is Emma Bartolomucci. I am a choreographer and climate activist from Toronto, Canada.
My name is Rosemary Westwood, and I'm a journalist. I'm also the mom of a 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old, who is sleeping in the other room.
My name is Chloe C. I am a youth climate justice activist. I organize with a few groups here in so-called Toronto.
My name is Charlotte Cater.
What do you think you might like to do when you grow up?
I want to be like a detective police.
And what is that?
That works on computers.
I love that.